Well, let's welcome everybody. This is the full moon in February. Let me tell you, that one was really hard for me to do. I'm like, the full moon in February, but we're doing it in January. But anyway, it is the full moon in February. And yes, it is January 31st when we're doing this. Mickey isn't able to join us this time, so I don't have a whole lot of astrology to talk about. I don't know if Audrey or Carol or Karen, you guys have any astrology to add to this? But, Mickey just said, basically, hold on tight. We're still in the roller coaster. I think we are entering, I don't even know. Oh my God, this is so awful. She goes, Kate, you need to know this stuff. And I'm like, yeah, you're the astrology person. I'm the meditation person. And, I know it's just more of what she talked about last time. We're into a lot of change and a lot of upheaval and a lot of disruption. And the best we can do is hold on and react to it in the best way possible, like the most positive way possible. And sometimes the disruptions are really hard to be positive about, but we have to try to find that positive place for our own sanity, right? Just for our own well-being. Last night I got on TV and I started watching the show called Cosmosis, right? It's on Amazon Prime. And it was so fascinating, I can't even remember what the first show talked about. There's a 3-part series. The second one I watched was all about how the government was doing remote viewing back in the day. So it was psychic spies. That was a very cool subject. And then the next one, I was absolutely certain talked about alien encounters using a Ouija board, right? It was just, and so I told Carol about this earlier and she goes, well, that's an interesting topic. So I went back to look at specifics so that I could tell you guys the name of it, where it is, blah, blah, blah. Well, apparently I was wrong. And I got to the point where I'm like, did I imagine this? I went through the last one and it's not there. I must have fallen asleep before it ended and then it went on to something else. So what it's on is called Extraterrestrials, They Are Among Us. And again, it is a documentary, and this was the first one. So what they were talking about is the Canary Islands. I guess Spain owns them. I didn't even know that. So it's a place called Latija Tenerife, and it's an island, and it's a volcano. And I guess there's a lot of sightings on the top of this volcano, and it's very dark and blah, blah, blah. Well, these boys, young teenagers, I guess, 1965, they were playing with a Ouija board, right? And I thought, how cool is this, right? So they're playing with the Ouija board. We talk about the Ouija board and Jane Roberts all the time. And they didn't use a planchette. They used a glass. And it looked like a glass for like a Manhattan or a old-fashioned. And the 3 boys would put their fingers on the glass and it would move around. It gave them a time and place to go. And that it was this mountain. And they said back then there were no roads, there was no anything. So they had to hike up this mountain, and it was like late at night and it was pitch dark, and they went there and they get on the Ouija board, and the entity called itself. Now I wrote a lot of this down because I worked really hard to look it up. It called itself OPAT 35. So OPAT, and then it went to the numbers 35. And I've got the guy's name that did the interview. He hasn't talked about it in 45 years. And I thought, I've used Ouija boards tons of times. I have never even thought about it in this way, but these boys were curious. They wanted to reach out to aliens, and the aliens reached back. So they were like, well, we need to be sure of this, so they saw lights out over the ocean, a ship or something. And they'd have their hands on the board, and they're still in their car. I think they're a little afraid. And, they're like, if this is really you, turn the lights off. And it would go to yes. And then it would do something else. And then the lights would go off. And they were like, oh, this is creepy. All right, turn the lights back on. And it would go to yes again. And then the lights would go on. And it became a regular thing that they went and did this. And it was so fascinating listening to this man talk. So his name is, I wrote it down, Suzu Santos, and his friends were Paco and Emilio. Very Spanish young men. But, they got to their place 10 minutes late, and that's what the entity said to them. They're like, you're late. Where are you? You're not here. We had an appointment. And it's doing all of this on the Ouija board. And when it was unhappy, it would throw the glass off the board altogether. So it was very cool to watch this. So anybody that has Amazon Prime or Amazon Video, what is it called? Amazon Prime, I guess. Extraterrestrials, They Are Among Us, and it is the very first of the series. And there were so many other sightings, and apparently Spain is a hot spot. I didn't know that.
So it reminds me a little bit of the ghost hunters type show where they had flashlights, and they would put the 3 flashlights out, and the one on the right would be yes, and the one on the left would be no, and I don't remember what the one in the middle was. Maybe, I don't know. But they would say, they'd ask a question, and they'd say, your yes answer would be on the right, turn that one on. Your no answer would be on the left, turn that one on. So they'd ask a question, and if the answer was yes, the light on the right would turn on, and then they'd say, okay, turn that off, and then the light would turn off. So it was really interesting to watch that, because they would set the flashlights so that they could easily be turned on or off. Mm-hmm. But a lot of times it was like as if they were responding to the questions. And
interesting.
Because they'd say, turn on for the answer, which it did, and then they'd ask it to turn it off, and it would turn off. And then sometimes it'd turn the other one on, and then turn it off. So it reminded me of that when you were talking about it.
Yeah, I've never heard that before. Now, the third part of the cosmosis, what a name. It's called Cosmosis. And what piqued my interest about that was the tagline is UFOs and a new reality, right? So we talk about creating our realities all the time. But they talked about all the psychic stuff and how they talked about psychic spies, and they talked about how in scientists, that they are so certain about what truth is that when they find something that goes against truth or is weird, they discount it, and they're finding that they can't be doing that. They have to accept that as a difference and then go to it. But they said they talked about the way the human brain is wired and how it works, that it's just very hard for us to wrap our head around that kind of stuff. So I look at us, right, and we're so open to this kind of stuff. Are we just more evolved? But, we clearly are more open than a lot of these scientists. We just don't know the math behind it. But even Einstein discounted the math as being true because it didn't agree with what he thought was physical reality, which I think is so interesting, that he thought the math had to be wrong instead of his belief system. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
Audrey?
My New York cop and in the Navy would see UFOs. And one day, coming home, saw one over Shea Stadium, he said, and he started asking it questions. And he was getting the answers. And I typed out he wrote a whole thing like Einstein's theory is wrong. And I mean, it was over my head. And It's quite an interesting topic.
Now, who is it? This was your husband?
My father.
Your father. Oh. Do you still have the writings?
I have them somewhere. I do.
Oh my God, I would love to see them.
I'll try to dig it up.
Oh, that would be wonderful.
Yeah,
oh my God, that's so exciting.
Yeah, it's way over my head, but yeah, interesting.
Tell me more about your father. When was this, and what did your father do for a living? And
when my father was in the Navy during the end of World War II and the Korean War.
Okay.
He would UFOs following the ship, and I guess this was in the 70s, and the one when he saw it in New York, in Manhattan.
Oh.
And then over to the stadium. That was about the 70s.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So I don't know if he was nuts or what, but
I don't think so.
No, the military. I mean, they're much as ex-military people, especially, are much more open about talking about UFOs. Air Force people, and I think when they're in the military, it's so disciplined, possibly, that they just don't talk about stuff, or they're asked not to. I don't know, but I think I've seen some things on TV from ex-military people, retired military people, that talk about it.
Mm-hmm. So these two shows go into that as well. There are ex-military people, and they're like, I haven't talked about it for 40 years until I got out. And so that is a common thread. And I do believe they are made to sign that they will not talk about it. So they don't feel comfortable until it's over. So I could see that.
He would think about, like, what's the propulsion system and get answers.
So was your dad, was he a mathematician? Was that kind of his...
He had a high school equivalency, that's it.
Really?
So this was above his abilities, but it was things that he was just questioning.
Questioning, and he got the answers.
And were the answers, like, do you remember, were they answers that would be found to be true?
Well, scientific. You know what?
Scientifically, yeah.
So long ago, I don't remember. I just know it was over my head.
Interesting. I still would love to see those papers.
I'm gonna look.
Okay, great. I have never known. Well, I shouldn't say that. I know two people that saw UFOs on a pretty regular basis, and they were in our area. And one, Carol, is right up, going up to Ithaca, like that road 13. I was told that road is like a super highway, and then the road that goes like down into Pennsylvania, I don't know the names of them, like 328 or something. That is another one, but it's not so much in New York, it's the Pennsylvania part of it. And I know that there is a property, a farm down there that has mounds. And I know that's a big, where you find mounds, you usually hear about UFOs. So
my husband saw a Tic Tac in walking around here.
Oh, interesting.
Tried to get its picture, but it was gone.
Mm-hmm.
I look up all the time and see nothing.
Yeah, me too. They say once you see it once, though, it starts happening more often. Like there's some kind of an opening that happens. And when you look at all of us that do Ouija board and that do meditations and do hypnosis and mediumship, all the stuff that we dabble with, those are all openings too. And they say, once you get good at one, you can get good at all. And the analogy they used for remote viewing was fascinating. They said very few people could play basketball with, and I don't know, they mentioned some great basketball player. I didn't know who he was. And they're like, not many people could do that, but almost every single person could make a basket if they try. And they said remote viewing is the same way. Everybody has the ability to get something. They may not be the best at it, but the ability is in humanity. That was the point. And I love that. You know, I've dabbled in remote viewing, and I was told I was pretty good at it. I was able to get one or two pieces. Like, I never could see like the whole picture, but I would get pieces of what it was. I didn't get enough that I could tell what I was remote viewing, but definitely there was signs that it was there. So I think that's cool.
I can remember when I was a teenager. I don't know how old I was. Probably young, very young teenager, just barely a teenager. I remember my dad running into the house and saying, "I just saw an UFO." and he said it was right over, it was right over the property across the street from us. And he said, and he was just so excited about it. I mean, I've never, he doesn't get, he just never got that excited about much, never mentioned it ever again.
Really?
I don't know.
And no one else saw
my
it?
mom got to him and said, "That's ridiculous," or you're going to scare the kids," or what, what, but he never talked about it again. So, that was kind of weird, but I don't ever seeing it, saying he started seeing them or anything like that. I also, in the research I was doing for the play I wrote 2 years ago, there was scientific research in that on remote viewing and how they used it during World War II. Mm-hmm. So that was, and how they tested for it and things like that. It was really interesting.
Yeah, there was actually the guy that I wrote his name down. Where is it? Hal Puthoff. That's his name. And it was 1972 when they started doing that. And I thought it was earlier than that. So it was during the Cold War.
Yeah.
Here.
Lydia, stop.
I don't even know where I was going with that now. That was his name. Oh, I know it. They put up a chart that said all the things to do to increase your ability to do this. And I'm going to go back to these, and I'm going to do a little more research on this. I think that remote viewing might be a cool thing that we could do on here in a group. Do some practice, what better way to do it than all over the world, right?
We'd have to have a target.
Snack. Pardon me?
I think we have to have a target, otherwise you don't know what you're getting.
Oh, we'll have a target.
Okay.
We'll have a target for sure. Yeah. So I can't really do the remote viewing because I'll know the target. But So then the question is, are you really remote viewing, or are you reading my mind? And I think either one is a very cool answer.
I think somebody did remote viewing and saw an alien spaceship, I've watched so many programs on that.
And I guess I didn't realize there was so many on there. And these are documentaries. There are PhDs and scientists, and there's just people that are giving their experiences too. But for the most part, these are very qualified, intelligent, high-end, either majors and captains in the armed forces, or they're scientists. And they're the ones that are promoting all of this stuff. But they're all like in their 60s. There's not a young man I've seen or woman. They're all older people, so retired.
Yeah. So Karen, you had any experiences or heard of any?
Oh, you're muted.
I have not. Very interested in it, very open to it, but I have not had any personal experiences or know anyone close that has had any.
Mm-hmm.
I just never really thought about UFO sighting, aliens in such close proximity to woo-woo or, the stuff that we're doing. And apparently they are connecting the two and saying it's very close.
There's some guy out there that does kind of meditation to attract. I don't remember his name, but
Stephen Gear.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. So he has an app, and it's called I have the app. I have never really done it because let me find it, because I don't have a whole lot of clear sky sight. Gosh, I know I have it here somewhere. Oh, CE5 contact. Yeah. He is one of the biggest promoters of this. And then of course you talk to Bashar, and if our Mickey was here, she is a huge Bashar fan, and Bashar has been saying that 2026, this year, by summertime, there will be first contact. Yeah. And just sit tight, wait and see. I don't know.
Hi, Martyn.
Hi, Carol.
Hi, Martyn.
Hi, Martyn.
Hi, Audrey. Hi, Karen.
So I wonder if Bashar, by saying that publicly, will entice people to make claims that aren't true.
I don't know. I mean, there's so many claims of it before Bashar, and Bashar claims to be an alien. So, I don't know. Hard to say, but they're talking about real proof, not just claims.
Mm.
So, Martyn,
there are people who have said they were Jesus Christ. So, I mean, it's it's not a far jump for people to say they're aliens.
True enough. Martyn, have you had any experience with UFOs, either seeing them or knowing somebody? Look at that smile. There's an answer there.
Yeah, I've had some definite experiences. I'm not quite sure what to make of it all. I've had people try to get me hypnotized to go under and talk more about it, but I've never done that.
Oh.
So,
did you have it when you were really young, or
even clear up into my 20s? And I don't know if it still happens, but yeah, I'm talking full scale abductions, whatever, cold ball wax. Yeah. When I was little, I had a really wonderful experience with that. So that wasn't negative at all. Yeah, that I don't know if I think I did. I told Kate once. I was outdoors. I got up real early in the morning with my older brother, and we went outdoors, and the sun was just coming up. But above us was another sun. It was even bigger, but it didn't produce any heat, and it didn't hurt my eyes or anything. And I couldn't get my brother to look up at it. He wouldn't look at it. He just looked down, kind of like he was stunned. Didn't respond at all. And I didn't get pulled up into it. It was just a really wonderful experience. I'm really happy to see it for some reason.
I'm glad you said you had a positive experience, because I think, all we hear about are the negative encounters, and people getting taken and operated on and blah blah blah. And because that's the only reports we actually hear, it makes me not want to believe it, because it's too one-sided. It's too negative. All of it's negative. Why, like we're going to get, and now if aliens really do exist and they really will make contact with us, everybody's going to be so frickin' afraid of them that they're going to shoot and ask questions later. So I kind of have dismissed a lot of the negative alien contact stories because they're too sensationalized. So I don't know.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
when my shop was open, we had a woman that came in and she spoke about alien abduction. She was never abducted, but her husband was. And he came here and he spoke about it. And he never spoke of anything scary. He never spoke of being afraid. Now, she was a little alarmed because he would levitate and float and leave the house. And she didn't know what was happening. So for her, it was an unknown. And I get that 100%. But as he talked about everything, there was no fear at all. He said they always brought him back. There was no scariness. And I can't bring him on because he has passed away since then. But he even talked about meeting a hybrid daughter of his and how beautiful that was. So an abduction story that could have been, horrible. He did not feel that way about it. So, yeah.
I don't know if it was bad or not, because like I said, I don't really know what was happening. There was fear in what was happening, but was it just like animal fear, or was it really something to be afraid of? You know what I mean?
How old were you?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, even in my 20s when stuff happened, it was not pleasant for some reason. I didn't have a feeling about it. Now,
I would have been scared in my 20s too. Today, not so much.
Yeah, and plus I just don't remember a lot of it now.
Mm-hmm.
I have the typical, empty memories concerning, I know something happened, but exactly what all, I don't know. And that's why they want to hypnotize me and see if they can find out. But I guess part of me doesn't want to know. That's what it is.
Well, it's a very personal thing too.
Yeah. And I don't think that it's all bad. I do believe and it could be that we're just dealing with different societies out there.
Mm-hmm. And it's also been taken that it is us from the future that comes back, and we've just evolved to such another degree, which... Yeah, so to me, that's a very positive thing that we know that we continue. We go on somewhere, the human race.
I haven't had any of those experiences for a long time. I haven't, none of that. Nothing like especially since I moved here. Out lands. So I don't know.
So where did you live when you were having these experiences? Washington?
Yeah, Washington State and Eastern Washington primarily, which is a big part of it because I lived in the shadow of the Hanford nuclear reservation. Right? That thing to do with it. And exactly what had to do with it, I don't know, but I know that was part of it. And I have an older brother that had the same thing happen to him.
Well, they do say that they tend to hang around nuclear plants for whatever reason.
Well, that was the negative stuff, that one. Now, when I moved to Seattle, nothing happened there. But when I would go visit my parents, and we would always go camping up by Mount Rainier, stuff would always happen. Always. And it was positive. So, I don't know if it was never positive, but I didn't feel good about it.
Interesting. And they do talk about mountains a lot. Like mountains seem to be, and they even were equating religion and mountains. That's where Moses goes up into the mountains, and the Tibet mountains for all of those.
That's where all the mythological temples are. The temples, gods and goddesses were always up in the mountains. So there's always been a connection to the sky and and spirit,
And astrology.
Must be something to it.
Right, and astrology, right? How many of these temples did they make to coincide with astrological events? The only place I can think of that wouldn't be mountainous would be Egypt. Like, there are no mountains in Egypt.
Right, well, yeah. Well, they made the mountains by creating the pyramids.
Well, that's true too. And what is it? Machu Picchu. That's like at the tippy top of a mountain.
Yeah.
And yeah, and this place, La Tija Tenerife, wherever that is, it's in the Canary Islands. It is the top of a volcano. So, I mean, it's obviously not one that's working anymore, but and people go there now. It's a big tourist trap, because this is where you go to meet UFOs.
I wonder in Hawaii if there are legends or actual remains of temples on the mountains there.
Well, I know that, what Pele, there are definitely temples for that, but I've never heard any talk about anything UFOs or anything there.
There are ruins in Hawaii. There are ruins from previous
Yeah.
are there.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I just think it's all so fascinating, and, this is all going to play out, and how cool is it that we've chosen to be in the world, experiencing all this, and, we're witnesses to everything that's going to happen. I love it. I also knew a air traffic controller that said they could visually see UFOs. They did not show up on radar, and they could not talk about it. So, and they have since retired, and that's how I heard that. And again, it was in that Route 13 corridor. Yeah. So Carol lives really close to this area.
I haven't seen anything yet, but
yeah. One of my friends said, she just had a weird feeling, and she stopped the car, and it was right above the car. No lights, no nothing. It was like rusty even. It was weird. I've never heard of a comment like that, but
no.
But nothing bad. In any of the reports I've ever heard, nothing bad has ever happened.
I think what my theory, and I don't really know this for sure, but just my intuition tells me that whatever negativity was happening, for whatever reason, it's gone now. It's not happening anymore.
Yeah.
So,
and I
can say that it's not been happening to me. That's for sure.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's the whole like Bashar talking about it, and the stuff being on TV, movies. The woman that her husband was abducted, she told me, she goes, Men in Black is more real than you can even imagine. So really, have we all had experiences, and we just got that memory taken away? And then, Martyn, you said the same thing. You're like, I know something happened, but I don't remember.
Right. Yeah.
So that was one of the things that has always stuck to me, that what she said is Men in Black was more real than you can even imagine. So
I just think we're in a much better place now, for whatever reason, than we were even a couple decades ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever negativity was happening, I feel it's not happening anymore. So.
Well, I guess I've always felt that they're kind of looking over after us, protecting us, making sure that, the red button doesn't get pushed, whatever. I've heard rumors about that too, especially military people that have witnessed that, things broke at very inopportune times for them, but it ended up being a good thing. So
yeah, I think the potential for nuclear war has been entirely eliminated. I do believe that. I mean, I know we're still afraid that it could happen, but I don't believe that it can.
I'm also watching Manhattan, which is all about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I should stay away from TV, right? Like, I had no idea we were going to take this road today. I didn't know where I was going to go without Mickey. And Carol goes, well, that's interesting. Let's talk about that.
And it is amazing how many people have had experiences, or know people who have had experiences, and And, again, I mean, I've never heard anything bad other than what I've seen on television shows about abductions, so yeah, it's
Don't you think that's
interesting.
sensational?
Now, I would
Sensationalized?
not call them in. I do not want to talk to them. If they want to talk to me, they can come and find me. But I do not want to call them in. I don't feel like I'm in a position where they would want to talk to me probably much anyway. So
Interesting. So this guy that was using the Ouija board, the thing that really intrigued me is, because I've used Ouija board for years, is they said they had a special glass. They only use this glass. Now, he didn't say why it was special. I have no idea. I mean, it really looked like a whiskey glass. It had a very flat bottom, and it was pretty big.
That's like scrying. It's like scrying, with a mirror or, particular glass or something. There must have been something about that glass that, drew energy or whatever.
Yeah. I don't know, but that's what they used. And they, I mean, obviously they didn't show it as it was happening. They did they set it up and showed how it would have looked. And, three boys had their fingers on it and it would just move around. We'll have to try that when we get together. We'll put a whiskey glass on there and see what happens.
I bet children are, not that I'm promoting it, but I bet children are much better at using Ouija board than adults are.
Yeah. Well, these were older than 16. They were driving. So they were, they were young men.
Yeah.
Probably not in their 20s yet. But he really looked to be about my age, maybe a little bit older. So it was interesting.
When I'm trying to use the Ouija board, I'm concentrating so hard on not making it move.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not purposely making it move that it doesn't move.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's another thing. When you're using the Ouija board, you clear your mind. You become quiet. You're
focused. And then I'm like, am I really pushing this, or is this, it's like one of those deals. I think I'm not very good at it anymore because I worry too much about it, my own manipulation of it, unconsciously or consciously.
Mm-hmm.
That
I have, and I don't really use it because I'm usually by myself.
Mm-hmm.
Doing it by yourself, you can do it, but it doesn't work well. Keen on, and what I've left open as a possibility, and now I've someone that has experiences where I have seen things move on their own, and so I've let it open. If there's an entity that wants to start moving it on its own, I'm open to that.
Mm-hmm.
That's happened. It's never, not that I can tell it ever. I've never seen it happen. It's like I've set up to where it can happen if they want to. Yeah. I would like.
Didn't we use it when we were at your house?
Yep.
I thought we did. Yeah.
Noticed it, and I didn't even notice it. We got some really things.
Yes. I'm sure I have the recording somewhere. I'm sure I do, because it was always recorded. And I was able to use Seth's board that he came through. Ron Card brought that up, and I was able to use that one. And it definitely moved. It said some stuff, and everybody that came to the house that day sat down with Ron and got to use it. It was awesome. And we have recordings of that for sure. Who they were, who knows?
The apartment I used to have before this one was right above me, and I had entities there that would come out. And it turned out that was where the babies were kept. This used to be a hospital.
Yeah.
And it was stuff that with little kids, and then after I found out about that, that's the kind of stuff that little kids would do.
So you had little poltergeists?
Down. They're still up there. They won't come down here, so nothing's happened.
Interesting. This whole concept of the unknown is just fascinating to me, and just hearing people's stories, I love it. Any other Ouija ideas? Anybody practice any of that?
As a kid.
It's fun to be
I
fun.
have a very old one, like probably more than 50 years old, that's in my basement. That was my grandparent. I found it when we cleaned out my grandparents' house.
Really?
So your
Get
grandparents
that one out.
your grandparents were Ouija users, huh?
Well, or my father and my uncles, because it was the house he grew up in. So I don't know whose it was, but I claimed that one.
Is it the old wooden? Is it wooden or is it paper still, like cardboard?
I believe it's wooden.
Wooden.
Wooden was good. Wood is very good.
Right. Seth's wasn't wooden. It was stronger cardboard than you would see today, but it was not wooden. It was like press board, I guess.
This could have been that.
Okay.
Really.
I mean, for that one, let's see, it would have been 1963 was when they got the Ouija board. So that's old.
All right. They were
That's
really
older than me.
really popular then.
Yeah.
That's when we had them. And my aunt with us, and she decided bad luck was happening, so she threw it away without anybody knowing.
Now, I've heard rumor that they come back.
Yeah.
You never really throw them away.
Well, then she did automatic writing, and she got sick and decided that's why she didn't protect herself. She smoked and had emphysemas,
But she did automatic writing. Interesting.
She said she had something from her mother in Slovakian and never got it interpreted.
Wow. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Audrey, you've got all this handwriting. Fascinating. You're going to have to start scanning. Find them and scan them.
Well, you know what? I don't know if I have that. I might.
Yeah, that's very cool. Yeah. I mean,
that was my childhood.
When I was a kid, my grandmother, she taught me and my sister how to do dowsing, pendulum work. She didn't call it that. I didn't even realize what she was doing, but everybody would come to her that was pregnant. Am I having a boy or a girl? And she would get out the wedding rings and the silk thread, and she would do that. And you had no idea.
Yeah. I can remember my grandmother doing tea leaves once.
Interesting, our lives, and how we didn't see it back then, but we've come to see it now in our golden years. I think about my grandchildren. My grandson, especially the one that's 18, he was brought up with cleansing with sage and Reiki and crystals. So he's been brought up with all of it. So I don't know how much he believes, but I figure seeds have been planted.
I used to be able to make it rain when I was little.
Oh, I love that. That.
Loved rainstorms, and I could make it rain whenever I wanted.
Nice. Did you used to do cloud busting too? Oh, yes.
I think I know what you're talking about, but I don't think so. No, but what?
No.
Yeah, I had a little ritual that went through. I mean, and I don't know where I got it from. I mean, I'm talking like 2 years old. I would get a rock and I'd find a piece of coal and I'd smash it on the rock, and that would make it rain.
Wow.
You could have made a living out of that in Arizona or somewhere like that,
Yeah. Probably not in Washington where you grew up.
You used to be able to get Dad to buy me a milkshake whenever I wanted to. And later on, when I told him about that and how I did it, I couldn't figure out why I kept doing that. He actually told me that he was actually puzzled why he kept doing that.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
Yeah. but it was all in good fun.
So I love the shirt that you're wearing, Martyn. It kind of reminds me of the ones that Bashar wears.
My Hawaii shirt. Yeah.
Your Hawaii shirt, yeah. Yep. Feels good. What's the weather like there? It's frozen from here.
It's frozen. Frozen snow on.
Yeah, us too. We probably have about, I don't know, 9-10 inches, and it's, I don't know, about 12 degrees. It's been below zero every night here for a couple of days.
Yeah, it's been like 20 below, 10 below. Today's to be the last of that, and tomorrow is supposed to be above zero.
Okay, all right. Well,
about a week.
South Dakota is known for that kind of cold, though, right?
Yeah. I was going to say your 0 or is our 30.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, so many people that I know are going through colds and COVID and different illnesses and whatnot. And I thought, well, today's probably a good day to do a healing journey, go into some healing spaces. So what do you think? You think we're ready for some of that?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, let's go ahead and turn our video off. And if you guys could turn your mics off, that would be great. And let's just sit and relax. Get yourself as comfortable as you can be. And let's take a deep breath in and out. And again, in and out. Beautiful. Now that we're in a much quieter place of mind, close your eyes and relax. And let's do the 3 to 1 count. So on your inhale, breathe in deep. On your exhale, I would like for you to visualize and say to yourself the number 3 times, and then 2, and then 1. Ready? Do it with me. Another deep breath in. And one more deep breath in. Beautiful. And know whenever we do the 3 to 1 count, we go into a deeper, a calmer place of mind. And you can say this with me silently to yourselves every day, in every way. I am getting better and better. Now, I want you to just relax your body, starting with your head and your scalp. Relax. And your neck, your shoulders. Relax your arms and hands. Relax your chest, your belly, your hips, your back. Relax your buttocks and your thighs, your calves, and your feet. You are and always are completely in control of yourself. If you want to be wide awake, you can open your eyes at any time. But for now, just join me on this journey. Trust my voice. I would like for you to imagine a staircase going down into our meditation room. And this meditation room holds our quantum door. And the other side of this quantum door, we have a village. We're going to go visit the healing temple in our village. And I will talk you through it. And then we will have plenty of time to do our own personal healing for ourselves and for those closest around us. But for now, imagine that staircase. You are standing at the top of the steps looking down, and you are holding on to a beautiful wooden railing. Ready? You're on the 10th step. Step down to the 9th, 8th, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. You are at the bottom of the staircase, and this you can imagine deep within your heart space. And we see a door, a very ornate door that you have created. If you're new to this, create that door now. It can be anything you wish it to be. Notice that the door opens outward, and it is closed right now. And I would like for you to visualize and imagine that we are going to visit our quantum world that has a little village. It's across a creek. And in this little village, there is a healing temple, and that's where we're going to go. And everything that you need will be right there. So I'm going to count to 3. On the count of 3, the door will open and we can jump into this beautiful quantum world. Ready? 1, 2. The door is starting to open. And 3, it is wide open. Step through, jump through, walk through, fly through, however you want to get to the quantum world. And we find that there's just a little courtyard, beautiful grassy area. There is a creek. So we're going to walk to the creek slowly, paying attention to all of the sights and the sounds and the feel around us. We're walking on grass and flowers, trees, leaves. We can hear the wind rustling the leaves and all the little animals that scurry around. We can hear them, the birds singing. And as we get closer to the creek, there is a little bridge that goes across it, and we can hear the water rushing across the stones. We can smell the beautiful smell of the earth and worms and moss. And as we start to go across the creek, we cross on the bridge. We don't have to worry about getting wet. And it's not a very long bridge. We get to the other side. And there's a little path. It's not far away, but we can see the little village. And there are many little buildings. There's a library where you could always show up to visit and go and read the Akashic record. There is little coffee houses. And you create all the buildings that you want to see. But we are concerned right now with the healing. You will know it when you see it. Walk towards the building that you know is the healing temple. There are 2 small steps that get on the porch. And you open the door and go inside. Once you're inside, you find everything you need. You can ask your higher self to join you. You can ask any person that you would like to be there. Or you can do the healing yourself. It's entirely up to you. There are healing tables, recliners, chairs. There is plenty of water, pillows, blankets, everything you need to be comfortable. So at this time, I am going to give you, about 10 minutes to concentrate on your healing. And I'm going to ask that you heal yourselves. And then you can focus your healing towards others. People that you love, people that you know, people that may need healing. And you always ask that it be done at the soul level for their highest and greatest good. And if those people that you choose aren't ready for this, that the energy just goes to the earth. She will always take it, always needs it. So go ahead in this building, get yourself comfortable. You'll have plenty of time, and I will see you in about 10 minutes. And so it is. we are drawing our healing session to a close. And thank the beings that showed up to assist you. Now, I would like for you to use your imagination while you are still very comfortable, whether you be lying down, wrapped in a blanket, however you are, just stay there and imagine a beautiful golden cocoon just encircling you. It is in front of you, behind you, on both sides. It is above your head and below your feet. It is a complete golden cocoon that is keeping all energies that don't serve your highest good away from you. Yet all the energies that are good for you and healing for you, loving for you, will be allowed to pass right through. And in this golden cocoon, there is beautiful white light that you can breathe in, that you can access anytime you wish. Now, when you're ready, you can just try sitting up. If you're off the ground on a table, just dangle your feet over the edge. Grab some water that you had close by. Take a little sip. Water is always grounding for us. And when you feel ready to get up, we are going to walk back outside of the healing temple, across the grass to the creek, across the little bridge. Again, always paying attention, smelling all of the scents in the air around us, listening for all the little animals and leaves, birds, watching the water rush across the rock. And we're now on the other side of the creek in the little meadow courtyard. And we can see the quantum door. We walk towards the door. And again, I'm going to count to 3. And on that count of 3, we will be in the healing room. And the door will close behind us. Just know that anytime you wish, you can open that door and revisit our little village as much as you'd like, as many times as you like. Okay, so I think everybody is now close by. So on the count of 3, we will be inside and the door will close. 1, 2, and 3. We're now in our beautiful, safe meditation room, deep in our heart space, where it is warm and safe, and it is just for us. Take a moment now to just remember this experience that we just had. We had healing beings that helped us, our higher selves, or just ourselves. We took care of ourselves, and then we took care of our loved ones. It's been a beautiful session. And it is time to come back to this time and place to join me in this transmission. And I am going to count again from 1 until 5. And on the count of 5, you will be absolutely wide awake, eyes wide open, feeling like you had a wonderful long sleep, yet remembering everything that you experienced. So take a deep breath in and out. 1, 2, 3. Start to wiggle around a little bit. Wiggle your fingers and toes. Stretch a little bit. 4 and 5. You're back wide awake in this transmission, ready to join us. And I thank each one of you for being with me on this journey. And I will see you when you turn your mics and your cameras back on. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Just kind of waiting for Martyn to come on back. He goes so deep. Would anybody like to share what their healing temple looked like? Like, it's just an open-ended thing. It could be anything you want it to be.
Hard to explain, but they're made from earth. It wasn't a cave, but like a building with earth and wall, fire. So
Beautiful.
my mailman came in the middle of.
Oh. Oh, of course. Okay, that's nice.
And I thought I smelled incense like the priest,
Oh, okay.
blessed us with.
I know exactly the smell you're talking about. I do. Welcome back, Martyn.
Well, thank you. I got a chiropractic treatment of some sort is what I was having.
Oh, crack, huh?
It pops all over, not just the joints, but all up and down, inside and out. Yeah, there was a lady and a guy. A guy had a beard and a lady had glasses. They worked me over really good. I feel really wonderful. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. I'm glad to hear that. Good. Carol or Karen? Either one of you? You both look pretty happy.
Go ahead, Karen.
It was very sunny and warm. And I think that, yes, I feel very peaceful, very happy.
Oh, good.
I went to the Lilydale Temple, the healing temple there, and Barbara Sanson, who was my healing temple healer instructor, actually worked on me. And my oldest sister came to me. She's passed on. And I did, I asked for healing for her. And that was the first person who came. And then Mickey came, and Judy came, and so I'm hoping that they felt that. And I had, it was really great, because I've never really had Barbara Sanson work on me, but I really have. That really was, it was quick, but it was very, very complete. And it felt just like I was being purified so I could help others,
Beautiful. Wonderful. Oh, I love it. Love it. Was the ending better?
Yes.
Good. And obviously everybody woke up just fine. Yeah. Nice. I love it that we can do this anytime we want. And, I'm as guilty as anybody else. I really do this twice a month with you guys. I will listen to it when I do the editing, but I rarely go back and revisit them, even though I say they're there and you can do it anytime. So, I love it. anything else? And so here it is. I'm so worried when Mickey's not here because she really takes the ball and she runs with it. And I thought, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? But you guys have all stepped up and told your stories, and hi. Told your stories and related things that were important, and I loved it. We're an amazing group, and we're 10 minutes to 3, and usually we're done around 3 o'clock, so we did very well. Congratulations, all of you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I love this group. Yeah. Now I do want to tell you guys that, let's see, the real full moon is tomorrow at 5:09 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So what that makes it 4:09 for you, Martyn? Does it go that way? Or does it go the other way? 6:09. Are you an hour ahead or behind us?
I'm an hour behind you. Yeah.
Okay. And then I do want to remind people that might want to join us. The Seth book study is at 6:30 on Wednesday. So we would love to have you at that. I do not think Mickey will be able to join us then either. So Carol and I will be there, and whoever else joins us.
Yep.
Thank you. And Karen, you'll be with your new grandbabies. Have a very safe trip.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess I'd like to see you all on Wednesday. Thank you for coming.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.